On segment 2, a personal story of life with Parkinson's disease. The neurological disorder affects 1.5 million people in the United States. It's often accompanied by tremors, and there is no cure.
Tonight, KTVU's Claudine Wong sits down with legendary singer Linda Ronstadt to talk about her diagnosis 4 years ago, her life today, and what really matters to her now.
It is a rare opportunity to sit down with singing legend Linda Ronstadt. She doesn't grant a lot of interviews anymore. They've just gotten too difficult.
Well, it's hard to talk. I can say a sentence, but then if I have to say a lot of sentences, I start sounding like Littlefinger on Game of Thrones. I get very hoarse.
But our conversation at her home in San Francisco was filled with humor, wit, and candor. Life for Ronstadt is not what she once thought it would be. Parkinson's changed that.
I did so much traveling when I was working, but there were all those places that I thought, when I'm not working, I'll come back here and visit this and just see what it's like, you know, like Europe. It would have been nice. So it's a little shocking to find out that that probably is not going to happen.
For 45 years, Ronstadt's voice captivated audiences around the world with hits like Heart Like a Wheel and You're No Good. She won multiple Grammys for her versatility over so many genres, and she graced the covers of magazines, including this edition of Newsweek, which featured both her and Jerry Brown. The two dated in the 70s, although she wrote in her memoir, "Neither of us ever suffered under the delusion that we would like to share each other's lives. I would have found his life too restrictive, and he would have found mine entirely chaotic." Ronstadt says she thought when she retired, she would get a break from the chaos.
And the things that I loved to do that I used to sort of take on the road with me, like knitting and sewing, but I can't do any of those things anymore.
Parkinson's, an incurable disease that steals so much, also stole Ronstadt's ability to sing.
There's thousands of vibrations a second that happen when in a female voice when you sing. And what you can't do with Parkinson's is repetitive motion. So thousands of vibrations a second is a lot of repetitive motion. It just won't do it. Like Emmylou Harris and I used to sing harmonies over the phone, you know. And now we're good friends. We've known each other for a long time. We still have a lot in common, but that musical conversation is gone, and that I miss that.
So how have you filled that void?
With books. A lot of good books.
Ronstadt first went public about her diagnosis back in 2013, just after releasing her memoir.
But I found out that I had Parkinson's when I was just finishing the book. And I didn't include it because it wasn't a 100% diagnosis, and I didn't want the book then to be about that. I wanted the book to be about music.
If you were to finish writing the book today, would you include it?
Probably, yeah, because it's so much a part of my life now. But I didn't even remotely think that could happen.
4 years later, Parkinson's has taken its toll.
It just makes it harder to move, you know. It's not like day after day, but after about a year, you can tell there's a difference.
What kind of patient are you in terms of?
A non-compliant one, mostly, because I don't like to take medicine.
But for Ronstadt, her life now is about recognizing what she says really matters in life.
It's not a thing you can cure. It's not a thing you can overcome, particularly. You just have to learn how to live with it day by day. And that, look for the most positive thing you can, you know. Makes me glad I was nice to my friends, because if I hadn't been, I'd be screwed. I've kept these people, I don't know how I've done it. They've put up with me all these years, but I'm just so lucky, and it makes a huge difference. Because in the end, all you have is family and friends. I mean, really. It's pretty nice to just be able to sit in my house and look at the garden. I don't mind that.
Do you listen to your own music?
No, it all sounds weird to me. It's frozen in, because it's mutable, you know, music is so mutable, it's never the same any one time. When I hear what I recorded, I think, well, why did I make that choice? That was stupid. You know, and then I think, well, I never was able to sing anyway.
And while she's her own toughest critic, she still fills her house with music, even if it's not her own.
So who do you like?
For mainstream modern, I like Alicia Keys. I like Sia a lot. I think she's a really interesting singer. I like the girl that sings in the Carolina Chocolate Drops. She can sing blues and opera and jazz, and I like classical music and opera a lot. I think if I had to probably pick something to ride out on the, you know, if I had to go to a desert island, I'd probably take classical music.
And while she has difficulty going to a concert or a movie, when given the opportunity to do an interview about Parkinson's or raise money for research, she does it. She will make a presentation this month at the 13th annual Danville D'Elegance Gala Dinner for a foundation that has raised almost $4 million for Parkinson's research and patient care.
You know, ordinarily I would have gone and sung concerts to raise money, but I can't do that anymore. I always think you give your gift, you know, whatever that is. My gifts are becoming increasingly limited, so. But when there's a chance to make people understand what it's like to have Parkinson's, I'm happy to do it.
Her work isn't done. She has a new story to tell.
You're trying to tell a story when you sing it.
So now in this story, what's your story? Not through song, but through experience and through appearances and by putting yourself out there when you can.
Yeah. I don't know what my story is. Understand things from other people's point of view, I guess. I guess it's humbling to have been able to do stuff and suddenly not be able to do stuff. So I have a lot more sympathy for other people that are disabled.
Such an interesting and talented woman.
Yeah, it was fascinating listening to her talk.
And still has a sense of humor.
Yeah, she's got a great sense of humor. Linda Ronstadt, as Claudine mentioned, will be telling her story this Saturday at the Danville D'Elegance. Part of the proceeds from that fundraiser go to the Parkinson's Institute and Center, which is located in the South Bay.
And this week's Bay Area People is focused on Parkinson's and the search for a cure. Join Claudine Saturday morning at 6:30 on KTVU.